What's going on, guys? It's Michael MGF, and today I'm going to be doing another custom LEGO minifigure showcase video, and for this video I have Oliver Queen the Arrow, obviously from CW's Arrow show, and this is a minifigure I honestly never saw myself actually making, and that was until they announced The Flash. And after seeing the trailer for The Flash, I was like, yeah, that looks really good, so I figured I would watch the both seasons of the Arrow, and I am so glad that I did, because it's definitely a great show. And the entire time that I procrastinated about watching it, I knew it was a good show, but I was just like, nah, every time I would potentially be tempted to watch it, and I finally stopped nah-ing, and I watched both seasons, and it's definitely a great show, just as good as everyone has been saying, and so this happened, of course. And I'm glad it did, though, because this is a minifigure. While his suit is kind of simple in the show, and it may not have been a massive challenge for me to paint, I'm still really happy with the way it looks. It looks like Stephen Amell in the Green Arrow suit, and I'm just really happy with the final result, and I figured I would share this one with you guys, because why wouldn't I? I don't know why I said that, but regardless, there is a surprise figure at the end of this video that I'm going to be showing, so once I'm done showing Oliver here, then stick around, because there will be a figure afterwards that I actually haven't shown up until this point anywhere, not on a vlog, Flickr, Twitter, or Facebook. So yeah, stick around and find out what that is a little bit in just a minute here. But yeah, so let's get a better look at the Arrow. So, honestly, the first thing I want to mention with Mr. Queen here is that when making this minifigure, as a customizer's experience, it was kind of simple. And, I mean, when I say that, it's simply because I've already faced much more challenging characters to make, such as Falcon, Spider-Man, more recently Groot. He's been fun to make. But, I mean, the Arrow, while he's such a great and iconic character for his show, the problem is that his suit is really simple. And even as a result, I decided to add some of my own details that aren't actually on his suit just to make it pop a little bit more, because his suit is just really simple but still really awesome, and I did my best to replicate it here. And the very first thing that I painted was the face, but before we go over the face, I want to mention that I did actually add a little bit of detail on his hood, and you can see that I actually painted on the seams that we see on his hood from the show. And to do that, I just added, obviously I just painted on the black base color for the seams, and then went over that with green, so it actually looks really just like a part of the hood, and it looks really awesome. I also added some black, as you can see here, wrapped around the front of the hood, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, so if we go ahead and remove the hood, you can see that we've got a little mini Stephen Amell face here that I fully painted on. Just so you guys know, the entirety of this minifigure is fully 100% hand painted by me, and this includes the face in its entirety. And so the face, you can see I did actually paint on his beard dot by dot, and that was fun and time consuming, but I mean, it still worked out and it looks really nice. You can see this is obviously the season 2 version of Arrow. So he does have his mask on, and you can see I painted the eyes and eyebrows on top of that. And honestly, without the eyebrows, while obviously you can't have your eyebrows if you put you can't see your eyebrows if you put a mask on, it looks better for the minifigure because he would look really emotionless without the eyebrows. So I still decided to put him on regardless of how unnatural it may seem. But temporarily putting the hood back on, we can talk about the torso. Actually, let's remove the hood so we can talk about the torso, because it actually covers up a little bit of the torso. You can see that the torso, though, is about as accurate as I could get it. The only part of it that isn't inaccurate was completely intentional, and that is these green stripes here and here. Now, I added those simply because once I painted on what you already see here, I was like, this is kind of bland. So I went ahead and added those just to make the minifigure look a little bit better and have just something more. Because like I said, the suit is awesome and it gets the job done absolutely. But for me making a minifigure, I wanted to add a couple little minor details. I'll get into the other one in just a second here, but you can see that these straps are, while they are painted straps, they are three-dimensional straps. I've done this on many of my figures before, but making the straps three-dimensional, it just adds a nice level of depth to them. And the same can be said for these straps on the back, which I will get to in just a minute, because obviously right now we have the quiver on there. But before we continue on, I do want to go over the bow, and the bow was definitely pretty fun to make. And it's something that I wasn't actually going to do, was add a ton of detail to the bow. But then right as I finished the actual minifigure itself, I was like, the bow looks kind of bland, so I added everything you see here. Made these halves that you see gunmetal. I have gold tips going on here, and all these details on the front, which I don't have a name for any of them, but I still did paint on all of them, and they look really nice. I think the detailed bow is what I think a lot of you guys will like here, and I know that I'm definitely pretty fond of it, and it looks really cool. And obviously it is the Arrow's bow. He is the Green Arrow, so how could I not have a good looking bow? And something else that you might have already noticed, which is pretty obvious, is that I do have a thread running through it, because it just obviously it actually has holes. This is a brick forge bow, by the way, and there are actually already holes molded into it, so you can run your own thread through it, so it's meant to do that. And yeah, so that was something that I definitely wanted to do, and that's actually a concept that I carried over from my Joel minifigure from The Last of Us. That was from last year. And another concept that I carried over from last year was this. Now, the quiver. The arrow quiver was actually used on my Assassin's Creed 3 Connor Kenway minifigure from last year as well. That was early last year, and it's a concept that I really liked, but the problem with that was last year, what I did was I glued the quiver onto the torso, and I didn't like that, because obviously I never pulled it off again after that, and I didn't want that, because I actually do have some details painted on the on the back of this minifigure, and I didn't want to lose those details. So what I did was we're gonna have to go ahead and remove the hood and head to get a better look at this. But I took the quiver that I made, so once I finished making the quiver, I glued it onto a neck brace, and so therefore the quiver is fully removable. Now, the problem with this was the neck braces, they're a little bit tall for a minifigure, so they make a minifigure appear taller, and I didn't want my Green Arrow minifigure to be any taller than he already was. So what I did was I took this neck brace, and it's kind of hard to tell, but I did a ton of sanding on this thing, and it definitely was worth it, because he would have looked really weird, because like his head would have been popping up, and his hood would have been like up to here kind of, and that would have looked really bizarre. So I did a lot of sanding to the neck brace, and then I went ahead and glued on this quiver. And this quiver, I should probably mention, obviously if you can't already tell, this what this is here, this is actually a part of a real Lego quiver, but Lego's quivers, they're square and therefore not accurate to the arrow, so I had to make this entire section. And what I painted onto this section, however, is my own detail. That is not actually on his quiver in the show, but once again, it was another case of this looked really boring and I wanted to add my own touch, so that's what I did here with this design. And now, you'll notice that obviously here's the details that I wanted to show you on the back of the torso, and you can see it's pretty simple, really nothing, it can't compare to what I've done on the front, but as you can see, it does have the same exact strap concept, and obviously they are three-dimensional as well, a direct continuation of the straps you saw on the front. But what I wanted to do is, obviously, just because I wanted to have a neck brace, that wouldn't change the design. I didn't want that to change the design of his back. So what I did was I painted on the exact same triangular design that you see on the back of his torso onto the neck brace, so that when I put the neck brace on that has the quiver attached to it, it doesn't make a difference. So that was something I did, to this minifigure that I thought was necessary. And also, you'll notice he has a little bit of detail on his wrist there. And speaking of wrists, while I put on the head, I should probably mention that this minifigure utilizes tiny tactical glove tops, and tiny tactical glove tops are just really freaking useful, man. They are a great accessory. I'll see if I can go ahead and pull one off to give you guys a better look and to see how they work, because I never really pull them off, so it depends if it'll work with me. Okay, here we go. To make sure the minifigure doesn't jump off the base here, you can see that the way these work, they're really great accessories from Tiny Tactical. I love to use them wherever I can, but these damn things are expensive. They're a little rubber accessory that you go ahead and obviously you put around the wrist of your minifigures, and it just adds a great level of realism to the minifigures. And obviously it's kind of a minor thing, but it still just really looks great, especially for characters like this. And it's something that I've used on Falcon. I think I've used it on Captain America. Yeah, I've used it on Captain America twice, actually. They're great accessories, and I use them wherever I can. But like I said, I like these were actually borrowed from Falcon, because they're just so expensive that I try not to order more of them if I don't have to. So as a matter of fact, Falcon right now is without his own glove tops. You can see there he doesn't have them right at this moment, but I do plan on ordering more of those. That's not really to the point here. The point is that there is detail on the legs that I have yet to discuss, and so the detail on the legs is something that I really was excited about, because like I said, when painting the torso and the hood and the quiver, I was like, okay, this guy has a lack of detail on his suit. But then I painted the legs, and that's really where the majority of the detail comes through on this minifigure is the legs. The design on them, the pattern you see, I painted on the standard light green color, and then the dark green color that you see me using here on the hood, the back of the torso. You can see it here. It's the base dark green color that I use for this minifigure. I ran that through all the light light green you see there, and it made for a pretty sweet looking pattern on his legs, and I definitely think that that pattern on the legs makes up half the minifigure by itself. And you can see he does have a painted on strap here, which does have a little pouch on the side of his leg there, also painted on, and you can see that half of his legs are actually painted in the same dark green color that you see on the rest of the minifigure, like I already have pointed out. But yeah, so other than that though, there is one last final detail for Mr. Queen here, and you can see that that is where that is on its, I can't words. You can see that's on his arms, or on this arm. It's like, what is it, 7 in the morning I'm recording this, so you can see that this detail here, I actually fully painted in black first, and then went over it with a gunmetal color to, you know, really make it look defined, and obviously to give it an outline. And also you can see I have a little bit of a weathered effect on it as well. I forget what it's called, and I know that this thing on his arm there, in the show it holds some special arrows, which obviously weren't necessary for me to paint on, but I forget what it's called that he wears on his arm there, but whatever it is, I did paint it on, and it definitely looks great, and it certainly is a more detailed than this side of the arm, which literally has nothing on it in the show. So I painted on that little detail you saw there for that reason. But yeah, so other than that though, that is pretty much it for Mr. Queen here, the Arrow. And yeah, so that's it. And now we can get a look at the minifigure that I promised you guys I was going to show you after showing Mr. Queen here. And that minifigure is Felicity, MIT class of '09, and the Felicity Smoke here is the secret minifigure that you skipped ahead for, and this minifigure, as you can tell, is really simple, and I'll tell you why. I only wanted to make this minifigure simply because I need the character to be in a few segments that you'll see if you continue watching this video after this segment, and I mean, it's a minifigure that I didn't want to make initially until I realized I needed the minifigure for this showcase video only, and simply because I only needed her for this video, I only really paid attention to making the face. The rest of it was just, it's kind of a placeholder. I can't say I tried with the front of the torso, and I can't say I tried with the legs, because what you see, obviously it's all painted, but it was not really anything in my book. And it is actually, however, an outfit she wore at some point during the movie. This is not a movie, gosh damn it, the show. It was season 2, episode whatever, I don't remember, but it's an outfit that I saw online, and then I was like, you know, that's probably the best outfit I should make for Felicity if I don't want to go too far with this, because I honestly had a limited time because I really wanted to record this video. So really, I just focused on painting the face, and that's what I went for. The rest I just threw in there just for it to be there. And you can see I did use the same like sleeve effect. I did do that, at least. You can see right there that I've done on previous minifigures. I did it with my Grand Theft Auto figures, where I had like the three-dimensional sleeve cuff. So I mean there's that, but what I really focused on, like I said, was the face. So removing the hairpiece here to get a better look at the face, I am really freaking proud of that face. And this face is probably my favorite painted face that I've made, I would say, since Wolverine from X-Men Days of Future Past, because it looks exactly like Felicity. And I know that might come across as being slightly cocky, or maybe not, I don't know, but when I wanted to make this face, then when I wanted to paint this face, the first thing I knew I had to do was paint on this smirk. This smirk with the line at the tip of the mouth I knew would look just like the same smile that Felicity gives off in the show, and then with the eyes, eyebrows, and the glasses painted on top of that, it looks exactly like Felicity, and I'm really happy with that painted face. So I mean, other than that though, that's really it for Felicity. I only needed her for a few short segments in this video, and that's the only reason I made this minifigure. And by the way, that's an area-like curved torso if you're curious. You can get those on areaLikeCustoms.com. But I mean, yeah, so other than that though, that's pretty much it for the very simple Felicity and both the minifigures that I have made for Arrow, and hopefully not the last minifigures for the show Arrow, because if a character in season 3 really catches my eye, then you'll probably see some more Arrow minifigures in the future. But I mean, other than that, that's all I've got planned for now, is Oliver and Felicity. So with that said, let's go ahead and wrap up this showcase video.
Hey, Slade, how's your eye doing? Hey, kid, happy Mother's Day.
Alright guys, and there you go, the showcase video on Oliver Queen, the Arrow, and also, who was just now revealed to you guys, Felicity Smoke. And Felicity was not a character I was expecting to make at all. And but I mean, if you watch this video, if you've already watched the entirety of this video, and hopefully you'll stay until after the bloopers, because then so you'll understand why I actually needed Felicity for this video, and I already knew how I was going to paint her face, so I made a quick Felicity. And yeah, it's nothing too complex, as I already said. said, but it was what I needed for the video, and I think it works, and for that reason, I will be taking both of these figures to Brick Fair, Virginia 2014, which is in less than a month, and I am totally going out of my mind getting ready for that because I am part of a collaboration, the whole thing. I talk about all this on my extra channel. Link to my vlog channel is always in the description below, along with my Facebook and Twitter. You can follow both of those on there because there I post all kinds of behind-the-scenes photos and updates of what I'm up to and what's to come for my channel. And as a matter of fact, I just wrapped up on a new Captain America Golden Age suit, which I have yet to showcase. He's coming after this showcase video, so definitely look out for that. But you can see him right now on my Twitter or my book face, so you can check out both of those once again, linked in the description below. And yeah, so if you enjoyed this showcase video or found yourself inspired to maybe make your own arrow, then be sure to let me know by dropping this video a like below and or your opinion in the comments, as both of which definitely go a long way. And it also kind of helps me because usually I don't make minifigures from TV shows, or you know, I wasn't even planning to make this minifigure at all, or Felicity to begin with. So I mean, if you guys enjoy these types of minifigures, be sure to let me know by dropping this video a like, because it actually really does help me out in the long run. Other than that though, that is it for this video, and I will catch you guys later. Alright.
Bye!
I can't be the killer I once was. To honor my friend's memory, I must be someone else. I must be something else.
You know you gotta do time for all these guys, right?
Alright guys, and there you go, my review on my own figure. Gosh, damn it. Like, the entire time that I procrastinated about not watching it, I procrastinated about not watching it. That makes a lot of damn sense, man. I am a genius.
My name is Oliver Queen.
But I want to mention, I actually already mentioned what I wanted to mention. Because, well, I don't want, okay.
So, who's going to take care of him while he's down there?